Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dice Cast. I am Russell-san, and with me I have.
Fishman.
When last we left off, Aquans and Jonas made their way through an enchanted valley inhabited by various mythical creatures. After stopping by a tree surrounded by various kodama, they managed to find their way to the the Weaving Recluse Inn. There, they discovered Buckman and his knights, whom they had met previously. In addition, they met four sisters running the inn, who, on after some covert investigation, turned out to be Jurogumo, disguised as beautiful women, to lure travelers into their literal web.
Yeah.
Our wizards were able to dispatch the spider women and their mother and prevent any egg sacs from hatching and save Buckman and his knights. Following that, they decided that because there was still the storm raging outside, that it was best for them to spend the night in the inn as they would find no better shelter in the wilds.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nighttime. We were about to turn in. Buckman and his knights had to sleep off the poison anyway, so they're not even conscious yet.
Yeah. We'll have to keep watch over them.
Yeah. So I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, there's already a fire going because they were cooking food. Poison-laden food, but poison, it's still food. We'll stoke up that fire, keep things nice and warm.
Yeah.
I'll take first watch, I guess.
All right. Then I guess I'll turn in.
And we'll see if... Oh, in addition, I think we should set up the hut and everything we normally do.
Okay. Yeah. We'll set up the alarms.
Yeah, just because.
As far as we know, we're alone here now.
Yeah, well, why take a chance?
All right. So yeah, we'll be in the hut. I guess we can drag them in. There should be enough room.
Oh yeah, this is big.
Yeah.
The glamping style of hut, bigger, more comfortable.
It's not quite Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion.
No, there's no servants.
No.
Anyway,
It's not it's not an interdimensional magical house that you can fill whoever you want.
yeah,
We might eventually get to that level of spell though.
maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Alright, so you're taking first watch.
yep. The can't remember his name. Who's the sort of in charge of the knights? Not
I
the
never actually gave them a name.
well, his first in command, his lieutenant, or whatever you want to call him, is the first to wake up.
Alright.
Calm him down a little bit, relax, you're fine. Explain what had happened.
You just all been mildly poisoned.
Yeah, you were being poisoned by these spiders.
Yeah.
So yeah, fill him in. He's a little dazed and confused, but I said, don't worry, everyone's fine. He does check, especially on Buckman himself, because he's his boss. It'd be kind of bad to show back up in wherever it come from. I can't remember the name of the place. Without, his lord.
Mm-hmm.
So, in short order, one or two of the other knights wake up. Buckman himself is still out cold by the time I wake you for your shift.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
to convince him that life is not ending.
Yeah. So I get up,
Yep.
I'll summon my familiar, and I'll take my watch.
Yep. And I'll go to sleep and leave you talking to whoever wakes up.
Sure.
Which I guess I will roll for, just to see if they are going to wake up.
Alright, so I rolled a 16 on my perception check.
Okay. About an hour into your shift, they start to groggily wake up. The last two of them.
Okay.
Buckman is really loopy.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't understand. Wondering why you're here. Wondering if his men are dead because most of them are just sleeping, except the one who's just getting up now.
I'll explain the situation as best I can, just tell them to get some rest.
Roll a persuasion check, please.
Actually, pretty good. 17.
Alright. Nice. We have some rapport with them. We did help them out before.
Yep.
Uh,
Also, I have sleep prepared. I'm fully willing to cast it on them if need be.
uh, he is exhausted.
Yeah.
He's quite actually willing to trust you because, well, like I said, we have some rapport with him. And he does remember enough of what had happened that everything seems to jive with what his recollection of it all is, and he just sort of accepts it. And once he's sure that his men are awake and alive, alive,
Sleeping.
his lieutenant actually wakes up for a little bit when he realizes his boss is up, and yeah, assures him that everything's good and everything's fine, and
Yeah.
I'll go back to sleep.
Yes, get to sleep before I enchant you to sleep.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would probably be very effective on them at the moment.
Yeah. You wake me up for the end of our long rest. They're still sleeping.
Okay. So we got a long rest then?
Yes, we got a long rest. The hut goes away. And we have to start the fire in the actual hearth where the stove is.
Yep.
And because that is long gone out. Alright. I will roll for my wand. Oh, I've been rolling sixes a lot on that lately. My wand of magic missiles is fully charged. So after we finished breakfast, like we started cooking some food. We have a stove, so might as well make use of it.
Yeah.
The smell of the food wakes up the lieutenant, and he gets some of their rations out and helps us and gets stuff going. And pretty much by the time that we were sitting down to eat, and he's prepared enough food and woken everybody up, they get up the boss, Duke Buckman, and yeah, they go about taking care of him, feeding him.
Okay.
They're all very well, sorry. Buckman is really groggy. I
Well, yeah,
guess
they're
he's
all basically recovering from spider venom.
yeah. The lieutenant actually seems to bounce back the best. I mean, it's his job to keep Buckman on his feet and make better decisions. Let's say.
Yeah.
So yeah, in short order, by the time we're done eating, they're sitting down, um,
Yeah.
having their meal, doing their thing. What do you want to do?
Well, I've changed some of my prepared spells around, but
Okay.
okay.
Is there anything you want to do?
Well, we should probably mark off the food for today while we're at it.
Yep. They are well provisioned, so we don't have to worry about feeding them.
Yeah.
And yeah, mark off a day's worth of food. And what would you like to do? Oh, hold on a sec. One more thing I gotta check. Oh, the storm is well and truly over.
All right. So the storm has passed now. We're
Yep.
still not entirely sure whether or not it was a natural storm or if it was a result of all the ambient magic in this valley or not.
Hard to say. Roll roll an Arcana check.
Natural one. I'm very uncertain.
You have no idea.
There was a lot going on.
It was a busy day.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty well rested, and my injuries have almost completely recovered because we took no damage last session.
Yeah.
We thoroughly took those spider women apart.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when you have a summoned creature who can take everything they dish out and not even really notice it.
So we're basically, I think, set to continue on our journey. The
All
question
right.
is, do we care at all about be any more about assisting Buckman and his knights? I
Oh,
assume they'll be heading out today.
yeah.
Oh, their spiders were also poisoned.
They're horses.
Yeah.
I know, that's one thing I forgot to check to see how the horses are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, constitution of a horse is a thing.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. They were more poisoned just so we couldn't use them as an escape method last night.
Yeah. Well, there's also they're not going to waste food.
No.
If there aren't people around, they'll eat horse. They'll suck horses dry, I should say.
Yeah.
There are extra horses, which we don't need, unless you want to
True.
ride.
I
Unless you
mean,
want to
they
ride.
have their horses, and the others presumably belong to whatever poor travelers. I assume they would occasionally use them if necessary.
Yeah. While they're there, we don't need them. We don't
Although
want.
it's not unusual for an inn in the wilderness to have some horses of its own if they need to get to aid or something to town quickly. Might have
Yeah.
been part of the disguise and illusion.
Yeah. So extra horses, they're quite willing to take them with them because there's no need for them here, and they'll just starve.
Yeah, no one's taking care of them anymore.
No.
I assume by that you mean you don't want either of us to really take them.
Well, I did ask. You didn't jump on it, so
Yeah. Well, we don't really need mounts at this point.
no, we usually use me.
We have magical means of transportation at this point, even though a horse would still probably help with our journey. There's no need.
No, no, it's something we got to take care of, and every now and then things happen to us.
Yes.
Actually, more often than not, things happen to us.
Yes, the horses probably wouldn't survive like a fireball or any of the other the monsters we go up against too well.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll leave them with Buckman and his company because they'll take them with them and take care of them because horses are a great thing for knights.
Yeah. I
And
assume they're going to continue on the road to where they were going.
we are actually more spry and willing to start out before them.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah. Buckman's still a little, and
He started out a little,
yeah, and so we leave,
Yes.
say our farewells, and start heading north
Wish
again.
them well on their journey and hope they don't run into any more trouble before they get back to their home.
And I say to you, well, if they do, they'll have to get out of it on their own this time.
Yes, because assume we're not going the same way they are.
We don't know.
Well, I do not think they live in the Elven lands, and that's where we're heading.
True, but lords and noblemen and that sort of thing sometimes are diplomats.
True.
He may end up heading there just to do some sort of diplomatic mission. Who knows?
True. Not entirely sure how good of a diplomat he would be.
Yeah, well, that's their
He has to be
problem.
good at something.
Isn't combat?
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
survival.
No, it's got to be something in his gene pool that
Not dealing with magical creatures.
keeps him from keeps people wanting to have him around.
Well, just going off of, history, lords and ladies and princes and kings and queens, those sorts of things. They sometimes were just kept around because, well, society demanded them be around. So
All
there's
right,
always a rational reason for it.
we quickly leave their company
Yes.
and head north.
We head along our path.
It is a lovely day. The weather couldn't get any better. I rolled really, really well.
All right.
So we head off on a nice late spring day.
Yep.
It'll give me summer soon. And yeah, it's gorgeous. Everything's bright and green and everything because it had a good dousing of water. And yeah, we head off. I would like a survival check, please.
With your assistance.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't have the survival skill, but that's still 22.
Well, everything
It
seems
counts
to
for a
be
lot.
bright and cheery today.
Yeah.
After the gloom of the spiders and that mystery valley and everything else.
And the storm.
Storm. Today is just a bonus day. We trudge along, we stop for lunch, we see lots of animals and wildlife and everything doing the things it should be doing instead of that valley where nothing was happening the way it should. And yeah, and then we finish our lunch and we continue on.
Lunch count as a short rest.
Yes.
Hey, at this point, I am officially at full health.
Hey!
You were at full health a little while ago, I think.
Yeah,
Well, I'm back to having 94 hit points.
there you go. And then, yeah, the day comes to an end after another nice long walk. And I would like you to roll one more survival check to find us a nice place to camp, please.
Not as good. 20 total.
Terrible spot. Don't want to stay there. Anyway, we find a nice, lovely spot, copse of trees as usual,
Yeah.
and we set up camp. Um, your turn for first watch.
Yes. All right. So we set up the alarm, the hut, and we summon our familiars. And
There is nothing you want to do, right? Like,
not at the moment. We're running a little low on scroll supplies.
true. Fortunately, we are going to a city filled with elves. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully they will have some stuff to replenish some of our materials. I could, I suppose, scribe a low level scroll. I have 150 gold pieces worth of ink and paper at the moment, so that's up to a third level scroll if I want to.
Yep, your choice. Actually, I don't know if I'm down anything. I haven't checked that in a while. Things have been kind of busy. Let's see what I have here.
No, I think I'm good for the moment. I think I'm going to hang on to that. For the moment, we're doing fine for scrolls and spells, so I'll just roll my watch.
Yep, go for it. I do not need anything either.
Okay. Well, this is the one of the lower rolls I've had this so far this session. 13.
All right. I will see if there's anything that's going to sneak by you during the night.
Well, I'm less concerned about things sneaking by us in the night and more about, things dragging our hut underground again.
Well, who
Or anything
knows?
that can dispel the hut.
Yeah. There's the thing that we're going to need to worry about going forward. More and more magical creatures.
Yes.
The shift goes by uneventfully.
All right.
Morning comes. Sorry, my shift
I
comes.
wake you for your shift.
Yes. Again, I wake you in the morning. That's what I meant to say.
All right.
Uh, the day is not quite as stellar, but it's still quite nice. Mark off another day's worth of food, please. How much food do you have left?
Um, after today's food being consumed, 24 days of food left.
That is more than enough.
True. It is lower than we've had with us in a long time, though.
Yeah. Well, about mid-morning.
All right. So we're in a way of traveling, I assume, at this point.
Oh yeah, we're not in any rush. There's no reason to be, but it's nice to stretch your legs. And we were walking. We come to the crest of a hill, and we finally get our first glimpse of a truly large forest.
All right.
This,
So I assume, based on positioning, this might be the forest that the Elven lands are in.
yes. Uh, we're not entirely sure. Roll a survival check just to see what you think.
All right. 21.
Considering how long we've been traveling and the direction and the fact that we haven't really gotten lost or anything, you're quite certain that this is the edge of the Elvish Forest.
All right, then. We're almost there.
And looking upon it, there's some really, this is like old growth. This is like a huge forest. And there's, you have nature?
I have nature, yes.
Roll for it, why not?
All right. 19.
You spot a great many species of trees. This is, like I said, a very well kept forest, even though that may sound a little weird.
Well, it's
Um,
had elves caring for who knows how long.
yeah,
And elves are known to take care of the lands they inhabit.
yeah, that's in the distance.
Yeah.
We're only seeing it because we are at the top of a really quite, you know, crest of a hill. Uh, we are still probably more than a day's march away,
Mhm.
but your first glimpse. So we head down the hill.
Mhm.
We lose track of it, of course, because of the other trees and stuff that are in the way. We do have our lunch, and we do march along some more. We kind of get a little bit of a glimpse of it every now and then. We crest a slightly lot smaller hill, uh, but the day comes to an end uneventfully.
Yeah.
And just to move this along, I would just like you to roll one survival check for the night.
All right. Survival? 13. Again.
All right. Like I said, to move this along a little bit,
Yeah.
there's no real eventful thing that happens during the night. The usual small critters, sometimes a wolf or whatever will go by. The hut itself is so camouflaged that they just ignore it.
Yeah. So we are
And
getting a long rest then.
another long rest.
All right. Marking off another day's worth of food.
And we're getting a little excited because estimating from what we saw, today should be the day that we pass over through the borders and into the Elvish lands.
All right.
We figure sometime before our lunch break, we should be there.
In the forest itself, you mean?
Well, by let's say by lunch, we should be uh, about to enter the, yeah.
All right. So
So
we're reaching the edge of the forest today.
yes, that's something we've been trying to work towards, and here we are.
Yep.
Let's see what kind of weather we have today. Ah, the weather is still staying really nice. I am wasting so many good rolls, I tell you. Yeah, so we head on, and I am going to click over to the next image.
All right.
This is our first real image of the Elvish lands.
All right. So I assume we're on this side of that river.
We are at a hill, on a hill. Let's call it this hill. Doesn't really matter. We are, let's just say this is about a quarter mile,
Mhm.
and then this is what we see. It's hard to do this any justice, really. These are old growth trees. They're all somewhere between 2 and 300 feet tall. These are big trees.
So
And
not
now
like that tree we saw with the Kodama in that valley.
these are truly massive trees. There's obviously, bushes and other stuff near the edge and stuff, but for the most part, they're just really, really big and
Yeah.
really in full growth because it's spring, right? So they're all bright and green, and there is a myriad of shades of green, but they're all healthy. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with anything.
Yeah.
This tree
Does stand out.
is, well, first off, it's a willow. There
Yeah.
aren't any other willows around. It is probably about 500 or 600 feet tall. It's huge, and it is also roughly right around where the river is.
All right.
Willows are normally found near rivers, so that's
Yeah.
fine. They're very much a water-loving plant. For the moment, I would like you to ignore those two trees because they're not there
Okay.
yet. So yeah, there's a huge willow there,
All right.
and we are basically across the river from it. The river's maybe 100 feet across. It's not moving very fast.
All right.
What would
So
you
we have
like?
a 100-foot river to cross if we want to continue on our journey, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got a water genasi with us who hates water. So, I mean,
Yeah. No, that's not the problem. I'm just saying we haven't had the best of luck with rivers.
no, this is the only reason I'm calling this a river because it's the right shape. The water's not moving fast at all. It's just sluggishly moving along. It's almost a lake, but there is a current. This is very,
All
very,
right.
very.
Well, let's go down to the edge of this river, and then we can see about crossing it, I guess.
All right. As we head down the hill,
Yep.
it says about a quarter mile to the river. We're walking along, and this idyllic scene does change a little bit. You notice initially
Mhm.
a fellow, hard to tell from this distance because it is a quarter mile, so half a mile past this tree. Uh, some humanoid is coming out of the forest and is marching deliberately towards this tree.
Okay.
You can roll a perception check if you want. It'll
Sure.
be a disadvantage though, because it's far away. It's far off.
Disadvantage brings it to 12.
Human,
Human.
elf,
Okay, not an elf though.
humanoid.
Okay. So not humanoid, not necessarily human, not necessarily an elf.
Yeah, bipedal, wearing clothes. The only thing you can pick up with that is it has, instead of like we use walking staffs, it has something between a shillelagh or a club. It's hard to tell,
Okay.
and it's got that kind of swinging it around, throws it over his shoulder every now and then, but is deliberately marching towards this.
The willow tree, but not us.
Uh, roll. Your perception was 12.
12.
You can't tell whether it's seen us or not.
Okay.
A moment later,
Mm.
after he's crossed about halfway between the tree and the forest, a group of other humanoids come out of the forest. About three or four of them, and they are actually running.
Away from something or towards him?
Hard to tell. Uh, I too far away.
Well, in that case, I can only suggest we get closer.
We are now at the edge of the river. We are, for all intents and purposes, about here,
Hmm.
about 100-ish feet to the other shore. Uh, Almost right on the shore is this large willow,
Hmm.
about about 200 feet back there. You see, kind of hard to see him now because there's a tree in the way. But you can see glimpses of him every now and then. And he seems to have picked up the pace, no longer marching. He seems to be running towards this tree. And these three or four individuals are now running and trying to close the distance. What do you want to
Right.
do?
Well, I can swim 100 feet across, 100 across and 100 feet of water in 2 rounds. And still have movement left over.
You want to cross the river?
Yes, it does seem like that might be the best idea. Besides, we have to do it anyway.
All right.
I
Where
am a
would
natural swimmer, so like I said, I can move 60 feet around in the water or on land.
yeah,
So I can cross this in 2 rounds.
I
You, on the
cannot.
other hand, are not a natural swimmer, so
I can swim
you can swim at half speed.
half speed. So do you want to swim at my speed, or do you want to tow me, or do you want to swim across and wait for me to get there?
Well, towing you is going to be the same as pulling you, so we're going to be moving at half speed anyway, regardless if I do that.
Yeah,
The
but
only question is, do you think it's a good idea for one of us to cross this river a bit quicker to see what's going on or not?
that's up to you.
Hmm.
All I can tell you is he is going to get, uh, if he keeps running at the pace he's running,
Yeah.
he will be there uh, within 6 seconds, like within a round.
So before we cross it, otherwise, unless I teleport us across.
Actually, hold on a second. I want to double check that just to be certain.
Because not even with Misty Step can I cross this in 1 round. I would need to Dimension Doris.
Yes.
There doesn't seem to be much urgency for that. There's something going on,
Yep.
but I don't think it's worth a fourth level spell.
All right. I will check one more thing here because I'm not sure what he's going to do just yet. What is Yeah, he's still running. I'll give you a fresh perception check at this point. Um, I'm I'm standing there on the shore. He's closer now. You can have it a regular roll.
Regular roll?
No,
Okay.
no disadvantage.
Okay, that's much better. 26.
Oh, that is okay.
Yep, natural 19 plus 7.
That is a good number. All right. Even with the swaying branches of the willow, you see enough detail now that you notice, first off, this person's an elf.
All right.
Uh, Seems to be garbed almost entirely in what you would call buckskin. It's like
Okay.
a
So
suede
furs.
leather. No, no, like a suede kind of leather uh, pants, jacket.
And having some sort of walking stick or cudgel, you said, so possibly a druid.
Definitely at this with that role is some kind of club for sure.
Okay.
It looks like a gnarled old something. It is looks like it should be quite heavy. He doesn't seem to be struggling with it at all.
Okay, so he's rather strong then for an elf.
Yep. And uh well, he rolled really well. What else do you notice? You notice around his head,
Mhm.
from here all the way around, is a crown. It is a crown that you wouldn't want to wear.
Oh,
It has thorns everywhere, and the thorns are sticking into him. You
so he's
see,
wearing a literal crown of thorns.
you can see little dried patches of blood.
Okay, so possibly not the most well balanced druid, mentally speaking.
I would also like you to roll an insight check, please.
Insight. All right, that brings it up to 20,
He is definitely a few fries short of a happy meal.
as
He,
Jack O'Neill would say.
yeah,
Okay,
he is angry. He is little saliva spittles coming down the side of his mouth. He doesn't seem to be caring anything at all about being chased.
so they are chasing him from this, as far as I can tell.
That's a good roll, yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to think that he's being pursued. He runs up toward, he's running towards the tree.
All right, are we in the water at this point, out of curiosity?
This is all I had to you roll these at the edge of the water.
Okay, so we're not in the river then.
No, so you can now decide whether you want to. I wanted to paint a better picture of this before you decided to.
Well, I still don't think it's worth teleporting across yet. There's how many people are chasing him? Four, you said?
Your last perception check was basically aimed at.
26.
Yeah, it was aimed at him.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta pair off a few numbers on that. You see uh, three for sure chasing him,
Mhm.
and the fourth individual seems to be staying at the tree line.
Okay. So he's being pursued by three people who might also be elves. He is an elf. Not the most well
Mhm.
balanced one based on the fact he's literally wearing a crown of thorns that is has dug into his skin for some time, so he might have some sort of brain infection because of it.
And because you rolled a 26, the three pursuers are elves. They seem younger.
Mhm.
You can't really tell about the one way in the back.
All right. They're not doing too much to try and stop him, as far as I can tell.
They are running after him.
Yes. But I mean, they're not shooting him with arrows or casting spells to try and stop him from whatever he's doing. It's more like this seems like he's possibly going to do something they don't like and are trying to talk him out of it.
All right. As
This is just the best idea I have of the situation at the moment.
far as weaponry goes, the pursuers
Yeah.
do have bows.
But they're not shooting.
They're not shooting. The bows are strung.
Yeah.
There's no arrows knocked.
Yeah.
Right at the moment, they seem to be just running after him. They are a couple hundred feet behind him. So,
Well
and
within arrow range for longbows and stuff.
well, yeah, no, if you know, especially for legless kind of thing, but
Yeah.
you don't know how skilled they are with the bows.
No.
But
But as far as I know, elves are at least proficient with archery.
yes, so you think they would be able to, but for some reason they're not. They are
All
too
right.
far away for any kind of insight check on them yet. You do hear some conversation between them,
All right.
but it's too far away. They're not yelling.
All right.
All right, that's enough detail
Yes.
before you get in the water. If you decide to get in the water.
Well, it might be worth seeing how this turns out. I still don't think it's worth teleporting across this river.
All right.
We could swim across and meet them there, but he'll get to the tree before us, he said. So,
Yeah. Okay, I am going to put us in uh combat order.
and if
Just
we're
so
going
you
into initiative, okay.
no, this is not for combat,
Okay.
but this
Then why
is
did you call it
so
combat order?
because it is. I
It's
mean,
initiative.
it's initiative order.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen,
Yeah.
and uh, you can make decisions, and then you know how it is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you want my initiative then?
Yeah. Hold on a second. All right. What is your initiative?
Natural one.
All right, you are indecisive beyond.
Yeah. If it comes up at all, natural one for a total of 3.
Ah, well, unless we get another natural one, it doesn't matter.
No, but it might.
And ooh, what is your modifier? All right, you're last.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. What is first in the order will surprise you.
You?
Hmm?
You?
No. Oh, I am. No, I'm third. All right. As we're standing on here deciding what to do,
Mhm.
this giant 500-foot tall willow tree pulls its roots out of the bank.
Oh, it's an ent.
It is huge. You feel the earth shake as this thing becomes mobile.
Yeah.
Basically gets up
Okay.
and kind of moves around a bit to see what's happening. It
In that
doesn't-
sort of slow, meandering entish way.
Yeah.
This is
And
embarrassing. I'm last initiative order with an ent who are known for being quite slow.
yep. And it's going to decide what to
Yes,
do.
well,
It seems to be slightly indecisive at the moment.
that's not terribly surprising. I assume it just woke up.
Yes. So it's standing there. And next in the order.
Well, to be fair, a tree getting up and stretching its limbs literally does explain why I'm suddenly so indecisive with a natural one.
Yeah. Next in the order is the fellow who's been running with the crown of thorns stuck in his head.
Okay, yep, the druid, as I'm just going to refer to him as for the moment.
Yep. He runs to within. Hard to say because he's on the other side, but he is now casting a spell.
All right. May I attempt to discern what the spell is?
It is a fair distance away.
Disadvantage?
It's on the other side of a really big tree, so you can try with disadvantage.
All
There's
right.
also a spell it's not you're not accustomed to.
I assume it's a druid spell. All right. Well, disadvantage means lower results. I still get to add my +9 modifier though on Arcana checks, so that's a 16.
It is call lightning.
Okay, this isn't a pleasant spell then.
Nope. Because any doubt as to what it might be is, well, rendered moot when you see this huge dark cloud form right over the tree.
Okay, it's a druid that's attacking an ent.
Yes.
There's something about this seems off.
I know.
Uh,
The three following individuals are now screaming at. Do you know Elvish?
I do not. I technically prepared tongues this morning, but I haven't cast it yet.
Yeah. They're screaming something at this person in.
Presumably in Elvish.
Yes. He
I
is
could
not.
try and counter this spell.
You are too far away.
Too far away. All right, I'm out of range of 60 feet. That's, of course, I should have realized that by the fact we're across a river that's 100 feet long. Across.
Yeah. You're too far away, and the well, let's call it a tree ant. The tree ant is right on the center at max range for his spell. So, yeah.
So, okay, neither of us are within range to counterspell. I assume that also means none of the elves over there, if they know counterspell, can counter it, which means I guess the spell.
They're 200 feet behind him.
Yeah, so none of us are within counterspell range, so he gets to get his spell off.
Yes.
Which means a lightning bolt might be coming down from the sky at this point.
Yes. He can
Hit the ant, basically. Well, hit anything within the storm cloud's radius.
Yes, which is 60 feet, so.
Yeah, yeah, in every direction. So I think we're just outside the range of the spell.
Yeah, we do see the shadow of it. It is not that far away. If we decide to cross the river, part of our swimming distance will be inside the spell's radius.
Yes, this might alter things for us.
Yes. So, I forgot to write that down. It's an action though for him to choose whether to call down a bolt, right?
Yes, but I think he gets to do it immediately as he casts the spell.
He gets one for free in the beginning. Yeah. All right. Well, in that case.
Yes, I've cast the spell in Celeste, and that's how it works there.
All right. We'll just go with that because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I wrote down this. Let's flip to that page.
There aren't a lot of spells that you have to set up for a full round before you use them.
All right. This is a deck save. This is not good.
Not good for an ent, no.
No, he's a -1.
Got lots of hit points, though.
Oh, that's not a bad number. All right, Mr. Ent, do you have any bonuses here?
This is already a complicated situation we've stumbled into. And we just got here.
Yep. We got a -1 on that, so that's 14. All right, what is your spell save DC there, buddy? Wow, that is one either extremely intelligent or nimble ent. He manages to dodge a good chunk of that blast.
They're going to take half damage.
He does take half of.
It's 3d10 at base level. I don't know what level he was casting at.
For a total of 6 points of damage.
That's not so bad. Oh, any other creature adjacent to the space that lightning bolt struck also gets hit.
You do notice a couple of birds fall out of the tree.
Okay, this is very atypical behavior for a druid, I'm going to say.
Yeah. All right.
My whole brain infection theory because of that crown of thorns is looking more plausible.
All right, this is what happens.
Lightning happens. Lightning happens.
The next thing that happens is one of the following elves says something to his compatriots as he continues to run. The other two knock and fire arrows.
All right, so I assumably at this druid.
We're going to find out now. Oh, doesn't matter. Not with those numbers. 2 arrows go flying in. No natural ones. I don't have to worry about hitting the tree or us.
Yeah.
But that was rather pathetic.
But fortunately for this druid, you were rolling.
Yep. So, I'm up next in the order.
All right. Well, a lot just happened.
Yeah,
It's amazing how quickly your perception of a situation can change in 6 seconds.
that is definitely the case. And I said, okay, there are a couple options here. We can swim this thing, which means we will be going through the range of that spell
Yep,
in
and
water.
possibly getting hit with electricity and water.
In water. So, personally, I don't want to get electrocuted while in water.
Yes, I understand. The situation has definitely changed. So I am willing to dimension door us across, which is the only way we can cross quickly.
We have another option. I can polymorph into a giant eagle, and on my next turn we can fly across.
I think we can cross this turn.
Oh, I have my movement.
Well, you'd
I
have to pick me up.
And fly at half speed.
You will not have to fly at half speed carrying me.
No, because I got to pick you up. So I'm only going to get half my movement. So we got to assume changing shape and picking you up to fly is going to eat up some of my movement. Is what
It's
I
a 4th level spell slot regardless.
Oh, no, I can do it for free.
Oh, that's true. You can do it for free. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try and conserve our spell slots for the time being.
Yeah. All right, so I polymorph using my free slot.
So use your shapeshifter ability.
Yep.
And you turn into a giant eagle.
I turn into a giant eagle.
Pick me
take
up.
off, dig my claws into your shoulders,
But gently.
gently dig my claws into your shoulders,
So I'm not taking damage.
and I fly at my full move rate, which I'm going to double check now because I think I might. We have that here somewhere. So many things to keep track of. That's not on that.
Mhm.
It's on that. I have a fly of 80, so half of that's going to be 40. We're going to be halfway across this river at the end of my turn.
And by my calculations, just outside the range of that storm cloud for the time being. All right.
I can't dash because
because you cast
action.
this. Use your action to turn into the eagle.
Yeah, so we are flying in that direction. Let's see if anybody notices.
I'm pretty sure the eagle might. The eagle might go unnoticed in all this. A lot's going on.
I would like you to roll a perception check because you're the only one not doing anything.
Sure. 14.
You're not certain, but you think the tree ant noticed us. You're positive Buddy Boy there noticed us because he looked directly at us.
Okay, so we might have to worry about being struck by lightning next round.
Yeah, and the individuals in the background, hard to tell.
Who knows? All right.
So,
Is it my turn now?
your turn now, Mr. Natural One. Okay.
Well, there are advantages to going last sometimes.
You are, let's see, 50 feet from the tree, much closer to the perimeter of this cylinder for the call lightning.
Yep.
And you are out of range for every spell that you have for we'll call him the druid.
Yeah.
Except if you have Ice Storm prepared, because you can reach out.
I do not have Ice Storm prepared, but I do have another spell prepared that I do want to cast.
All right.
So, presumably, we're a lot closer to the cloud at this point. The spell.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're...
I would like to cast Dispel Magic on the Call Lightning spell.
All right. At what level are you going to cast this spell?
I'm casting it just at 3rd level. I don't know what level it was cast at, so that should dispel it if he cast at 3rd, not a roll.
All right. So
I bring up my hand.
And you do not need to roll.
All right, so I cast forth the disrupting pattern of abjuration magic, and the storm cloud vanishes as quickly as it is conjured.
Yes. All of a sudden, we are in a clear day yet again. You hear a very unusual sound. I'm not sure what it is. It sounds like the sound of a nice breeze blowing through leaves. You also hear a bellow of rage.
From
And
below,
then-
presumably from the druid.
Oh yeah, he is not happy.
The bad news is we're still out of counterspell range, so he might decide to cast that spell again.
Yeah. So that is the first round of our combat.
Yeah, that's basically all I can do.
Yeah, you're unless you want to jump off and swim or something, yeah. Okay. We are going back to the top of the order.
Mhm. That was the end.
It is. Two things happen. First off, two of the trees in this forest
Yeah.
uproot themselves and start.
So I assume this is the treant ability to animate trees.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Two huge trees are now stomping towards this conflict.
Yeah.
We'll get here
Yeah.
eventually. I'm going to put them into the order now. Yeah, my initiative order, but with a modifier that's bad, so they won't be. They'll go after me.
Yeah.
So the other thing it does is it turns around. Doesn't have a head to cock, but it does seem to twist its stump a little bit and
Yeah.
looks at us. And you're sure it smiles.
Okay. Well, it may have noticed that I dispelled the storm.
All right, I'll give you a nature check on this. I'm going to use this as a kind of like an insight check, but you know, it's the only thing that comes close is a tree ant.
Okay, so a nature check brings up to 28.
You're positive that this particular tree is not just a regular ant.
All right, whatever that means.
Well, you heard rumors. It is actually just kind of a story that gets passed around a lot of a creature called Old Man Willow. It's just around a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard of it before, and you're sure most of the stories are just stories, but you do know that there are certain ants that have been around for so long that they kind of have a slightly different kind of category that they fall into.
All right, so some sort of really ancient ent.
Yeah. You know that they have some kinds of weird abilities, but most of them are just stories.
All right.
Anyway, this one seems to have a bit of knowledge about how things go magically.
Yeah, and seems to have understood that I dispelled the storm that was hitting him with lightning.
Yeah.
Cast by a druid. We're in a very unusual set of circumstances here.
Very much so. All right.
So that's his turn, I assume.
Yes, he has called some trees to his aid.
Yep. I think the druid was up next.
He is up next.
Okay. Let's see what he has to do to us now.
Yeah, he is indeed casting a spell. We are 50 feet away from the ant still.
Mhm.
So he is going to. Yes, he's going to do this. Roll an Arcana check if you like. You still can't counter the spell because you're too far away.
Do I have disadvantage still, or is it that? Are we closer?
No. No, we're closer now, and this is a spell that you've seen.
Okay. 20 total.
He is casting Wall of Fire.
All right. I still can't counter that, but at the very least, I can't be cast in midair.
And we are not his target, apparently.
No, we're in the air. I don't think we are legal targets.
Well, I didn't say, unfortunately, how high we were flying.
No, that is true.
We could easily be within the top end of the Wall of Fire, unless, you know, I specified that we're flying 100 feet up or something.
Oh, we're flying over a river. I think we're safe.
No, anyway, we're not the target.
No, is the
The,
ant.
the ring of fire is forming around the giant tree ant.
Okay, this druid hates trees for some reason.
Yeah, seems to. All right.
All right, come on, elves, you have to be able to do something here.
I did not write down Wall of Fire's damage. Can you look that up for me, please?
I think it's a number of d8s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
Wall of Fire. Technically, I think, don't you know the spell?
Yeah, I do.
You rarely cast it.
I have cast it. But it's been a while.
5d8 fire damage to each creature within 10 feet of the side of the wall that burns or inside the wall.
Well, it is a cylinder he's made.
Yeah, so he's ringed him with fire, so presumably all the flame is burning inwards from that circle.
That is precisely the case.
All right. Yeah.
And it is a dex save?
Yes. Still not very good for an ant.
Ugh, especially with that roll. Remember I told you I really like d8s?
Yeah.
'Cause
This
they
might
will
be
really-
bad for the ant because aren't they vulnerable to fire?
Yeah, that would normally be 28 points of damage, but it's being doubled.
256.
56 points of damage.
Okay.
Not happy end.
No. Well, there's nothing I can do until my turn.
True enough.
All right.
The ants has already had his turn.
Yeah, the trees haven't come. The animated trees haven't had their turn yet, so I assume it's the elves now.
All right, yes.
Okay. They should really try hitting this guy to break his concentration at this point.
I am going to roll for the two archers first.
Yep.
Oh, a nat 20 and a miss.
All right. Well, the natural 20 should do some damage.
Nat 20 is going to do some damage. Let's see how much damage. Ooh, that's a good roll. He takes 18 points of damage. Which means he needs to make a concentration check.
Yep.
It's still 10.
Yeah. So he's likely to succeed.
And what is your... Oh, so many things to keep track of. What is your constitution modifier there, buddy? Alright, where is it? Oh, there it is. Duh. Alright, he rolls. More than enough.
All right. So he maintains concentration on the spell, unfortunately.
Yes.
What are the
Now,
other two elves doing?
no, those are the two that stayed back to fire. They
Yes.
are walking forward, but the other one's running, and that's all he's done.
Yes.
So he ran forward last turn. He seems quite speedy.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit faster than you would normally expect out of the elf.
Hmm.
I think he's covering about 80 feet per round.
All right.
And then he does another 80 feet. So, oh no, he doesn't need to do 80 feet. That's right. He can do something else. So he moved up 120 feet. So that puts him. So he's now. Oh no, he's still 80 feet away. No, he has to dash again.
Okay.
So he's running up. That's his turn.
He's closed the distance, is what from the sounds of that.
He is now 40 feet away from him. So
Okay.
Next turn, he can either move up and hit him or cast a spell. He's within range of almost everything he can do at this point.
Yeah, except melee, but he can move forward. He can move up and hit him then if he needs to.
Yes. All right. My turn.
Your turn. You're a giant eagle, which does limit what you can do on this turn.
I am going to fly the rest of the way across the river. avoiding the giant wall of fire.
Yep.
Once I cross the river, once I'm done my regular move rate, which is 80 feet.
Yep.
So you're well within past the river now, and you can see him clearly, and you can see the ant. Well, so you can't. You can see him above the tree of the fire. Yep. I'm gonna drop you on the ground, and then I'm going to dash towards the druid.
All right.
All right. You are now on the ground.
So yes, I am on the ground. Weren't the awakened trees next?
Yes, sorry. They're next, but they are so far away.
So they're just coming. Yeah, they have limited capabilities from what I remember.
Yeah, they're heading this way, but they're going to be a while.
Yep. All right, so my turn is what you're saying.
Your turn.
Well, something tells me I should do something about this wall of fire. There are two things I could do here. One, I could just dispel the wall of fire again.
Yeah.
Obviously. Because I know the level of that spell, and a 4th level dispel magic is not difficult for me at this level.
No.
I also have a scroll of control water, and we have a river here.
Yes.
I don't know how effective that will be in dousing a wall of magical fire.
Roll an Arcana check.
Because it is... the spell is not creating magical water, it's taking control. It's basically animating non-magical water.
Yes.
Alright, my check is 26.
Alright, you're right in your surmise.
Yep.
You are going to pretty much, for the round that you create the water, you're going to effectively douse the wall of fire for 1 round.
Yep. Right.
But you're not going to stop the spell.
That tells me everything I need to do. I need to know from there. Alright. I am going to cast Dispel Magic, targeting the wall of fire at 4th level.
Alright. No need to roll.
Alright, so once again, I dispel his spell.
And
once again, I assume he's annoyed.
He is beyond annoyed. This is not going according to plan.
No. But his plan apparently is somehow kill this tree ant for some reason.
Yep.
We still do not know what is going on.
We know nothing other than the fact
that he seems to be insane and is attacking and hates this tree ant.
Yes. Someone who's not in their right mind.
Yeah.
Is trying to kill a truly ancient tree ant.
Which they should technically hold some degree of reverence for.
Yes. So.
Well, somehow... Well, druids don't tend to have to worry about disfavor of deities, so all their spells are still working.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically all I can do.
That's making a certain tree ant very happy.
And I'm hoping it's going to possibly win us some favor with these elves.
Yeah.
Apart from, the insane one.
Alright, I'm not going to bother rolling for Mr. Insane because he's going to know. Obviously, the ant knows. I'm going to see if the guys at the back are figuring anything out yet.
Yeah. Well, I've done this twice now.
Yeah, they do seem to have noticed us.
Yeah.
Giant eagle flying real fast.
They might have missed me dispelling the storm cloud, but this is a bit more apparent.
I've noticed you as well.
Yeah.
You think? They are still fairly far away.
Yeah.
And the individual who's really noticed what's going on is the one who's run up.
Yeah.
He's now seems to be thinking. He's not entirely sure what's happening.
Yeah.
He's happy that it's happening,
yes,
as far as our interactions are concerned, but he's not sure why. Well, we're not elves. He's not sure.
Yes. He's as confused by our part in this situation as we are by theirs.
Yep.
Well, that's my turn.
Yeah. So now we're going to move to the top of the round.
So that's the ant again.
Yes, he has taken 62 points of damage. He is going to do this.
That has to be a lot even for him.
He's not bloodied.
No, but it's still a lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage. You can see the charred marks.
Yeah.
He is still standing relatively close to the river.
Yeah.
He moves a little bit closer, and some roots move over and sink into land in the water.
Mhm.
And I would like you to roll an Arcana check at disadvantage, please.
Natural 1. And thank you for wasting a natural 19. Oh,
You're
no.
not sure what this involved, but you notice some of those chars from the burnt leaves and whatnot seem to be opening up and looking less damaged.
So I assume he's somehow healing by using his roots to drink up the water in this river.
Apparently.
I just don't understand how.
You don't have the foggiest.
No, but I can still add 2 and 2 and add up to 4.
Yep.
All right.
You might have got 3.5 or 5, but you kind of got there.
Yes. So I assume that's what he's doing.
That is what his action is.
I don't know. Personally, I probably would have attacked the druid, but okay.
Well, he's a tree. He doesn't like fire. Fire
No, he doesn't. So I would attack the guy who set me on fire.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's its turn, I assume.
It still has a bit of movement left.
I don't know. Go stand in the river just in case this guy wants to set him on fire again. I don't know. He might be coming after me now. I suspect I've annoyed him a little bit.
The tree, the ant seems to be moving towards Mr. Psychotic as the last bit of its move.
Okay, so it healed itself a little bit, and now it's going to go... Alright. So, speaking of the mad druid... What is
Yes. He is still out of counterspell range. What are you going to do there?
Yeah, I suppose I should have said I moved a bit closer to him, but oh well. There's a lot going on at the moment.
Yes. I think he's going to do that. Yep, he's casting a spell. You can have Arcana check at advantage.
At advantage, okay. No, that's Alright, that's a middling roll, so 18.
It's on your spell list. You've cast it many times. Well, a few times. He is casting Ice Storm.
Okay, so I'm out of counterspell range.
You are out of counterspell range. You are well within Ice Storm range.
Yep, but I am resistant to cold.
You are. He does not know that.
Yeah.
I would like you to roll a saving throw, please, as I roll one for the tree.
So it's just me and the Ent that are in this as far as I can tell?
Yeah, I moved way too far ahead. I'm gonna
Alright, so it's a dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
I rolled a natural 1. I probably should use my portents, but...
I was going to get you to roll the damage for this because you do all things. There's a couple of things I need to work out here.
Sure, want me to roll the damage?
Sorry to make you roll the damage that you're doing to yourself. And don't forget to double it.
And then have it.
And then have it. So yeah, just take regular damage.
It was just base level Ice Storm, I assume?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Alright, well, the damage isn't too bad. Alright, so 26 points of damage.
Yep.
Which is double for me and then halved for me because...
Yep. So you take 26.
Yep.
Right.
Ow.
What part of that was the bludgeoning damage?
Oh, right, because that's not halved.
No, yeah, for starters.
13 of it.
So an additional 13 points of damage to you. But that is reduced for the tree.
Yeah, so it was 13 points of cold damage and 13 points of bludgeoning.
All right.
Ow!
You've just taken 39 points of damage.
Yeah. Also, the ground around us is now frozen, and also possibly some of the river.
Yeah.
Well, I was at full health for a little bit, for about an hour.
No. That was a couple days ago.
I'm just talking in this session. I had a natural 20 port net. I could have just taken no damage.
Oh well. What can you do?
There's probably going to be worse things I have to worry about.
So that's his turn.
I mean, I also had a 10 portent that I probably could have used and saved.
Yeah. What's your modifier?
I get to add 7 because of the ring of protection.
Yeah.
I think a 17 has pretty good odds of succeeding.
I'd give you that for nothing. It would have saved.
Yeah. Oh well, I rolled.
Okay. The two bowmen
Yep.
are now running because their whoever gave them their orders is now closed range with our crazy druid guy.
Mhm.
He pulls out well, you didn't notice it before, but strapped to his back he had a club.
Mhm.
And he is going to try and brain this guy.
All right. Possibly another druid. Good, maybe we can get some healing out of this.
Swings wild, but is now noticed as this
Oh, he's that delusional, is he?
club goes swinging over it. Oh yeah, he's mad as a hatter.
He had an arrow hit him in the back.
He didn't seem to pay attention to it.
Hmm.
All right, that is their turn.
Yeah.
You're now at me. I see this little contest happening.
Yep. You see the ice storm.
I saw the ice storm. I am going to try and break this guy's concentration on whatever he might be concentrating on. I'm going to try taking him for a ride.
Presumably he is not concentrating on anything at the moment.
I know, but I want to get him.
All right, so you're going to basically grapple him and then lift him up and drop him.
Yeah. So
All right, so it's a contest then.
Yep.
Do you want me to roll his result?
Please.
All right.
Don't bother.
He rolled a 14 plus whatever his dexterity modifier or strength modifier is.
He dodges easily.
Okay.
I go flying by. At which point, I land, because that didn't work.
And revert, I assume.
And stop concentrating on my polymorph spell.
Yeah.
And revert, yes. I don't mind wasting one turn on that, but I'm certainly not going to do that again.
No. As much as you like polymorph, there are certain forms which are not as useful as just you being yourself.
Yeah, I can cast spells now.
Yeah.
All right.
The awakened trees.
Yeah, they're coming.
They might. The fight might be over by then.
It might be.
My turn.
Your turn.
Right, well, I did not enjoy that.
No, I can imagine not. Losing 39 points of health in one round is not enjoyable.
Alright, to start off, I will take out my refilling flask of healing potion and as a bonus action drink it.
I honestly thought when I made this item that I would not get as much mileage as it's getting.
Well, with the new healing rules, it definitely is.
Yep.
Alright. So that's 7 points of healing. That mitigates some of the damage.
A little bit.
Some of the damage being pelted with massive hailstones.
Yep. You are not restrained or affected by this slippery ground. What would you like to do?
Alright. I would like to move forward my 30 feet of movement.
Yes.
Does that get me within counterspell range?
No. Hold on a sec. 60 feet, right?
Okay, its counterspell range is 60 feet, yes.
Yeah, you were Actually, you are just within range.
All right, I won't use my action to move further in that case. He's an elf. Sleep will not work on him.
You also realize that he took an arrow in the back and didn't even flinch.
Yeah, so he's probably got a lot of hit points.
Yeah.
Alright, so maybe a non-lethal approach is the way to go here. Unfortunately, I don't have web prepared. And I don't know hold person, so I am going to reach into my spell pouch and pull out a small chrysalis.
Okay.
And I'm going to squeeze it tightly in my hand, and I'm going to cast a speaking incantation and cast polymorph on him.
What would you like to turn him into?
Do you want to do the saving throw first, or?
I'm going to. I just want to curious what you're going to pick.
Oh, something. Well, we'll go with something that you love turning people into. I'm going to turn him into a tortoise.
All right. I would like you to roll an Arcana check, please, as I do this.
Okay. 16.
You seem to think that he's more capable of resisting this spell than you would expect.
So he's got some sort of magic resistance, or he's got some sort of advantage on wisdom saving throws.
If you roll a perception check on top of that, I might be able to give you a bit more information.
14.
You noticed as you cast a spell and he was trying to resist it, the thorns sticking into his head
Oh,
kind of didn't really throb or anything, but it kind of like vibrated. A little bit of fresh blood's coming down now.
okay.
Spell failed.
All right. So he resists my spell. As far as I can tell, it didn't work.
The spell didn't work, but you're not sure whether it was him resisting it
Or that crown of thorns is some sort of magic item that prevents polymorphing or something like that.
Something about it that maybe gave him that little bit extra. Who knows?
All right. I look at this disappointed. Return the chrysalis to my component pouch. Ready my arcane grimoire, possibly for a long fight. I'm within counterspell range now, at least.
Yep. All right. Top of round 3.
Will this ent please do something?
He is doing stuff.
Yeah, it's a massive tree. It could attack this guy.
True enough. He's not very speedy.
No. But I've seen Lord of the Rings. I've read the book. I know how devastating these guys can be.
Yes. If he gets within range, his pummeling is going to be something impressive to watch.
Or you can pick up a rock and throw it.
He can do that as well.
There may not be any around, I guess.
It's hard to say. Well,
Yeah.
This is meadow.
Anyway.
All right. We are at the top of the round. The ent is indeed heading towards him.
Yep. But not making it there, I guess, even with a dash.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what he's gonna do here. He has options. Oh, he had a brainstorm. Took him a couple rounds to get to it.
Well, we know that ents do not do anything quickly.
No. You seem to think that, regardless of the amount of damage he's taken, he doesn't seem overly concerned.
Well, who knows how many hit points an ent of this age has.
Yeah. So, he has decided to do something. And what happens? He lifts up a foot, which is just a root.
Yeah.
The root plunges into the ground. And you see that tremors effect where the ground is rippling.
Mm-hmm.
And then that ripple is heading towards
him, I assume.
Crazy. And then these roots burst out of the ground right underneath, unfortunately, both of them.
Okay.
I will roll dexterity saving throws. Hmm. Fortunately for them, they're elves. Let's double check this. Yeah, that's actually quite true. Do that. You see these really thorny branches burst up in hair, clothing, and stuff as they get flung out of the way. Um, they are relatively dexterous. They don't take as much damage as you think.
Yeah.
So the damage that they would have taken was 17, but that's being reduced to half.
Yeah. So 8.
Yes. All right, we are now at Mr. Crazy's turn.
Yep.
I need to roll a die for him. Midland. All right, what are you going to do? He looks very frustrated.
Mhm.
This is not going anywhere near what he wanted to do.
No.
He seems to come to a decision. And I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
All right.
This is a bit of combat. Make it a disadvantage.
14.
Still pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. He is. Yeah, that's good enough. You see him concentrate for a second as he picks himself up off the ground, and all of a sudden, for all intents and purposes, for most people, he seems to disappear. But your eyes are quick enough to notice that he just shrunk down to the size of a dragonfly and is now zipping towards the
Wild shaping.
Yeah. It was a close call. You almost missed it.
Yeah.
And he is zipping towards the trees.
All right. I'm going to just. Can I use my reaction to point him out to everyone? Like, there he goes.
Yeah, you do so.
Yep.
Hold on a sec. Let's see if anyone's paying attention.
Come on, these are elves. They have like racial bonuses per perception.
Yeah. The gentleman who was trying to brain him with a club noticed it for sure. Yet actually missed it.
Well, you can't expect everything. He probably can't as difficulty seeing as something that small.
Yep. And you're not entirely sure about the guys that are running towards us.
How about yourself?
Well, I am on the other side. He actually has to go by me. I do spot it.
All right. So my reaction is not going to waste then.
No. He is going by me.
Is he going through your melee range? I don't know if that's.
That is a difficult question because he's tiny.
You want to roll for it?
Yeah, I'm going to give this a percentage chance.
Okay.
That seems a reasonable way of going about this. He is in a hurry. No, never mind. It's a 91. I wasn't giving it that high a percentage chance.
Mhm.
He zips by me.
Okay.
Alright, for the moment, we're going to fall out of combat.
All right. Now that we're out of combat, the first thing I'm going to do is drink the potion of greater healing I have.
Go for it.
All right. And it heals me another 12 hit points.
You're down 20.
Yep.
Alright. Everybody, in short order,
Yes. while I still have a moment, I'm going to put the potion flask and the refilling one away and put two regulars in my pocket just so I have them
Yep.
for future reference.
Everybody converges,
Yes.
including our giant ant friend.
All right. What in the
Yeah.
world was that all about?
All right. Once they realize we speak common, which is not unusual, they also speak common.
No, I think basically almost every sapient species on the material plane of existence speaks common.
Uh, One thing that might surprise you is the ant also speaks common.
Hmm. I actually haven't looked too closely at the end stat block. I don't know if they know that naturally or not.
One sec.
He's been around a long time.
We've been around a long time.
Yeah. I'm currently resisting the urge to beg a healing spell for this one of them for our assistance.
Oh, the two animated trees.
Go back to being trees, I assume.
Yeah. Actually, they walk back,
Yeah,
and then they stop being animated.
yeah.
So they go back to where they came from. All right, I'm going to try and um, instead of going through all the different conversations, I'm going to try and give you a consensus
Give us
here.
a summary. Okay.
Yes. Uh, First off, uh, yes, he is a druid. Secondly, he is the leader of their particular group of druids.
So he's the leader of their circle.
Yes. And what was their circle? Circle of land.
Okay.
Yeah,
Presumably circle of land brackets forest based on where they are.
where they are. Yes. What
All
has
right.
happened recently is during, well, they patrol a lot of their forest. That's their job. They take care of things. They make sure no one's poaching, all that stuff. That's just what druids do.
Yes.
Apparently, recently, they found a sinkhole, and the sinkhole led into this underground area that their boss said, "Well, I'll go check it out." And unfortunately, when he came out, he had this thing attached to his head,
Crown of Thorns.
and ever since then, he's just been horrid. He's been killing animals, and then he got into his head today that he was going to kill the elder ant here.
All
And
right. I suppose obviously we're not looking at a rational mind here anymore, but did he give any reason for this?
he does not speak to us anymore. Matter of fact, whenever we got too close, he would try and kill us. We've been trying to stay out of his way and trying to figure out a way of getting it off of him, but we don't have the necessary spells to do so. Um, One of the things he says is like it is outside of our purview. We don't deal with that sort of arcane magic.
All right. I do have a scroll of remove curse on me at the moment.
Yeah, he
I
said,
don't know
well,
if it's a cursed magic item or not, but that might help.
the one guy says that there's the one that ran ahead.
Yes.
Seems to be in charge or second in charge, I guess.
He's in charge now.
He's currently in charge. Yes, he says, "I noticed that you guys use arcane magic. I really would love, I beg your assistance here. We just can't handle this. We've tried. We don't have the experience to deal with it. I mean, we're great with obviously with nature magic. We don't want our leader here killed."
Yeah, so we're looking for a way to separate him from this
Yes.
artifact.
Um, so this is the conversation that's been going on.
Mhm.
Um, the ant is really just listening to this.
I assume he's only got so much interest in this at this point.
You'd be surprised.
Mhm.
One thing that does happen after a little bit of this, these branches come down out of the tree,
Mhm.
like, and they wrap around you.
Okay.
Go up, and he walks towards the river.
Okay.
He sticks his branches in, oh, sorry, his roots in, and then you feel this surge of healing magic.
Okay, so I'm being healed.
Yep. This goes on for, oh, you're down 20,
Yes.
just 6 seconds, and
And I'm fully healed?
you're fully healed.
Oh, wow.
And he says, "Thank you." Gives you a pat on the head and
Yeah.
puts you down.
With one of his branch-like fingers, I assume, because if he brings his entire hand, armor, hand down to me, I'm going to take damage.
Well, gotta heal you again.
Okay, well, that's nice. I was going to ask the druids if they could cast any healing spells, if they have methods of healing myself and the Ent before we went off in search of this guy.
Yep.
But that takes care of that problem.
Yep, you're fully healed.
Yeah.
And he says, one other thing. Speaks really slowly,
Yes.
but whenever he speaks, the elves, they stop talking and they pay attention.
I assume, like I said, they assume they have reverence for him as this elder druid of theirs once did.
Yep. He says, he's thinking.
Yes. Has he put me down yet?
Hmm?
Has he
Yeah,
put me down yet?
he put you down just
Okay.
after he pat you on the head. He says, I like you. Reaches up and hear a snapping sound, and then he hands you a little twig about this long. Let's take this, please.
So in my hands, it's like a wand almost.
It's a wand size. It's a
Yeah.
wand sized twig.
Okay.
Says, if you need me, hold this, and I will send whatever aid I can for you.
Okay, we might have some help here.
Yeah,
All right. So I suppose I should write that down here on my character sheet.
let's call it Ant Wand.
Okay. All right. I might be able to identify that later to find out what it does.
He says, please don't.
Oh.
You didn't say a word. He says, just use it when you think you need it.
All right. So this is a bit of trust, I guess.
Yeah. All right. The head lieutenant guy, whatever, the current head of this order,
Yes, the druid.
speaks Elvish and says, sorry for that. Speaks in Elvish to his subordinate, and they all head off.
Yeah.
Says they're going to scout ahead and try and figure out where uh, our leader has gone. We need to get this off of him. We need to save him. This is not him.
Yes. Yeah. We
He
need
must
to
be.
somehow rectify this before any.
And I beg you in all
And they're asking for help. Yes.
that you help, because it is not something that we can deal with, as because we've tried it the last day and a half, and you can see where it's gotten us.
Yes.
All right. So you have somewhere in this forest a very high level druid who is very, very hard to find,
Yes.
who may be planning all kinds of interesting things for us. Um, what would you like to do to try and make this possible?
Well, I don't have locate creature prepared, unfortunately.
No? Do you have locate object prepared?
No, unfortunately not.
What divination and or information gathering spells do you have?
Well, I have clairvoyance, I have arcane eye, and I have scrying. Now, I have technically seen this guy.
You've seen him? Yep.
Yes. However, I'm not sure how effective scrying is going to be in this situation.
You are scrying for someone who can pretty much pass without a trace in forests with ease.
Yeah, in a forest I have never been in and know very little about.
Yep. Okay, let's see if Buddy Boy here is a suggestion. Nope, he rolled a natural one.
Yeah. So
And so did I. You're on your own.
well, short of taking a long rest, which I don't think is going to be an option at this point, I can't prepare either of those spells yet.
Yeah.
I could try scrying, or I could try contact other plane, which is a ritual. But contact other plane requires me to ask questions that yes or no questions to something. It may
Yes.
not necessarily provide us what we need in the situation.
It also has one other limitation. The entity you contact has to know the answers.
Yes, and it may not know the answer to where is the druid. Well, I can ask it where is the druid that attacked us. It has to be
Yeah.
yes or no questions
And it says, yeah, I know where it is there. What I'm trying to get at is it may not have knowledge of this
of him
particular item.
specifically.
Yeah. It is obviously something very rare.
Yes, and also I have to make a saving throw on that spell, but that's not the problem.
I think I have an at 20.
I have yes, I have
Yeah.
portents for that. That's fine. That's not the problem. The problem is even casting that spell may not be all that helpful.
Well, what do you want to do?
All right. Well, the issue with scrying is he gets a saving throw first of all.
Yeah, a reasonable one because you barely know him.
Yeah.
Not like scrying on Bree.
First hand, I've met the target, so yeah. But that just means he doesn't get any bonuses as he gets saving against it.
Yeah. But then again, you've seen he's gotten some bonuses from this thing.
True, that might take effect. And even then, it just creates a scrying sensor where he currently is and it stays with him for the spell's duration. And I can see him through hear it. I guess it might help us if we can ask these elves if there's any landmarks nearby. I might be able to ask them what location that is.
So if you scry on him, you're saying if there happens to be something
Yeah,
recognizable,
if there's something recognizable, then the scrying I can see.
yeah, that you have to be able to describe to them to
Yes.
make it sound significant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's a long shot, but I don't know what else we are apart from just going through this forest and trying to track a dragonfly without the aid of magic.
Yeah.
All right, so I will set up to cast the scrying spell. So I'll take out my crystal ball
Yep.
and my arcane grimoire, and I'm going to set up the spell I need to cast first. So it takes 10 minutes anyway.
All right. We
So,
patiently wait.
uh, yeah. So I can't force a saving throw on him in this case. Can't give him a portent because I don't see him.
All right.
So he gets to save.
Your spell save DC, I
Is
know
18.
already. Yeah, well, I know it. Is +4. And are you proficient in this is a wisdom saving throw?
I'm pretty sure. 1 second, I will double check. Wisdom saving throw.
16. He resists.
All right, so he saves against the spell, so the spell fails, and I can't target him again with it for another 24 hours.
Yep.
All right. Once
Wisdom.
this 10 minutes, once I realize the spell isn't going to work, I put the crystal ball away and pick up. It says, "Well, I could try contact other plane,
Yep.
but I don't know how effective that's going to be either."
Okay. That's 10 minutes has gone by.
Yes.
See how successful these guys are. Nope. Nope. Okay. 10
Well,
minutes has
my
gone by.
scrying failed. It'll take another 10 minutes to cast contact other plane, however long the conversation takes.
Well,
What do you think? I'm asking for your opinion here.
well, the lieutenant, we'll just call him that because whatever.
Yeah.
He is waiting for his runners to come back and see if they know anything or something to happen because he is quite well aware how difficult it is to try and track
Yeah.
a very high level druid in a forest.
Yeah. Well, my scrying failed
Yeah, he says,
the first time so far.
uh, our my runners haven't come back yet,
All right.
so
So by
go
the
for it.
sounds of it, we have time to try contact other plane.
The other option is to go traipsing around through a very large forest looking for a druid in his natural habitat with all his spells that work in the forest.
Yeah, and all his various animal shapes that he can turn into.
Could be anybody, anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. By the sounds of it, we need to narrow this down.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to try contact other plane.
Go for it. Are you gonna use a portent?
I am going to use a portent this time, yes, because I don't want to be driven insane and comatose.
For 8 hours.
Yeah, so I'm going to use the good news is this is an intelligence saving throw, so the 10 is enough because I get to save against it with an intelligence saving throw, which is plus 10, so
Yeah.
20. All right. So I save against the spell. 10 minutes later, the spell is ready.
What's the
And
DC against that? You have to beat again? I don't remember.
my spell save DC.
Oh, your own spell save DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Oh wait, or is it, or does it its own? 1 second. Uh it has been a little while since we cast this last.
I only cast it once.
No, we've cast it twice now.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh no, it's 15, sorry.
yeah.
It has its own saving throw. The DC. Either way it works.
It seems kind of funny that you have to save against your own spell to save DC.
Yeah. That would kind of be counterintuitive. So it's 15 for future reference.
Yeah.
Though you can obviously, if I start abusing the spell, you can make it higher if you want.
Yeah, that's a conversation we've already had.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, the spell works. So the glowing blue fluid eye appears.
And you have 5 questions.
And we have 5 questions we can ask it. Now we need to think of good questions here to ask. All right. All right. Before we even go looking for this thing, I have a very specific question I want to ask. Can this crown of thorns be separated from the elder druid of this circle by means of remove curse spell? Because that is very important. We need some way of actually removing the magic item.
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's good. So we have a way of removing it then,
Mhm.
which is just the remove curse scroll I have.
Yeah.
All right, that is progress. By the way, you and the lieutenant there can, if you can think of a question, feel free to ask it.
Unfortunately, I know the questions to ask,
Yeah,
so
I know.
I'm gonna roll to see if Jonas's brain is working.
Yes.
Oh, that's a 19 before modifiers. My question is this crown of thorns dangerous to us?
All right.
And the answer you receive is yes.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's a cursed magic item that he did not voluntarily put on. All right. So that's 2 of our 5 questions.
Roll again.
I have one.
Oh, another 19. What were these numbers earlier?
I have a question first to
Yeah.
ask. Has this elder druid retreated to any of his usual haunts or hiding places? This might help us.
No.
No. Okay. Your question?
I rolled another 19. That's gonna make a very good question, I hope.
We only have 2 more after this. 2 more. So
One more after my question.
1 more after yours. Yes.
Oh, I have a couple. That's the problem.
Well, you can only really get one. Well, you get two more technically, but
Oh, yeah. Has the druid's mental faculties been permanently damaged?
all right.
No.
No. All right, so there's a chance he could recover from this then. Last question.
Yeah, I won't roll for this one. It's up to you.
All right, so there are so many questions I'd like to ask that are not yes or no questions. That's the problem. It does not work with this spell.
Yeah.
All right, I have one more question that might help.
All right.
Has this druid retreated back down below the sinkhole into the area where he discovered the crown?
No.
All right. At which point the spell ends.
Yep.
The eye vanishes into a single blue cobalt point.
Yep.
And I get up and I say, all right, well, we got some answers there.
That's getting better.
We know where he's not. That helps a little bit.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah. True. We are technically trying to track a moving target here.
Yeah. A very capable target.
A very fast one if he needs to be, even just in a dragonfly form.
Yep.
All right. We know we can help him. We know the remove curse scroll that I have will separate him from the crown.
Yep.
And he hasn't been damaged to the point yet that he's unsalvageable past that point.
Yep.
We know he's not currently at any of his usual haunts or hidey holes,
Mm-hmm.
and we know he didn't go back into the sinkhole.
Yep.
And we know that we have to be careful around this crown because it's a danger to us, but I think we already knew that to an extent.
Yeah. All right.
Unfortunately, I think we have exhausted most of my methods of divination at the moment.
Well, fortunately,
Yeah,
two things are now happening as we're having this discussion.
yeah.
First off, a runner is coming out of the forest, running towards us.
All right.
And secondly, there is a loud, blood-curdling scream.
All right then.
And we are about 2 hours in.
Yep. So I want to take a break now.
We'll take a break.
All right. We will take our break and we'll be back here in a few minutes.